everybody, I'm Elizabeth from our Paleo family. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. So we are not cooking in the Instant Pot tonight. I know, excuse me, I know a lot of you found me with the Instant pot roast. I do make a lot of Instant Pot recipes, but not tonight. I have something extra special. We're making Bang Bang shrimp. Have you ever heard of that? Have you had it in a restaurant? It's often featured as like an appetizer typically in an Asian American restaurant. But we're going to do a paleo version tonight. This is another one of those recipes that you can do a lot of different things with this shrimp. And typically, it's basically like a lightly fried shrimp, has a light batter. We would just have the shrimp and a bunch of vegetables on the side. And because it's sort of an Asian feeling recipe, we would serve it. I usually do broccoli or green beans or sugar snap peas, some of those vegetables that I think go well with Asian food. And one of the really great things about this recipe is it has a yummy sauce that is in the fridge because it's a mayonnaise based sauce. But tonight I'm going to do it bowl style because I love bowls and I think it's a great way to get in a lot of vegetables. So I have some rice cooking on the stove for my children, and I have some cauliflower rice right here that I've steamed. I have found one of those bags, the 10-ounce Bird's Eye, I think is the brand, but there are other brands. That's just the one I had. It's the blue bag in the back of my freezer, and I've been buying the really big bags of it at Costco for a while, but I had one of those in there, so I just use that. So you microwave it, and then I'm going to saute it in the pan. So I'll talk about that when I do that. So we're going to have the bed of rice or cauliflower rice, some shrimp, a slaw that is in the fridge, and I'll talk about that when I get that out. And then just drizzle it with the sauce, and that's going to be our dinner. So I'm super excited about it, and it's really, really good, and it's not hard. The only thing about this recipe that is a little bit finicky is if you buy your shrimp not already peeled and deveined, which we picked these up fresh at the beach, so they were not peeled and deveined, and I had to do that, and it took me a while. But I put on a podcast and just listened to my podcast and peeled my shrimp, and it was fine. So in this pan, all I have is an egg. I just want to beat it really, really, really well so it loosens up, and you know, sometimes the white is kind of hard to break up. I just want that really well broken up. And I'm going to put my shrimp right in here. I peeled these, had a fuzz on me. I peeled these earlier, and so I set them in a bowl with a few ice cubes back in my fridge so they would stay really cold. That's important with shellfish. And my dry breading is coconut flour, arrowroot starch, salt and pepper, which makes this, oh no, not the egg. Okay, I was so excited. I was thinking this was autoimmune paleo friendly. Okay, so with the autoimmune protocol, you do not eat eggs because they are inflammatory for some people. Although we're finding really that they're not as much of a problem as once thought. When you take the time to heal your gut, most people are actually able to tolerate eggs very well, the whites and the yolks. But if you're just beginning an autoimmune journey where you're trying to heal your autoimmunity naturally with functional medicine, you'll need to exclude eggs. So instead of the egg, just use some coconut milk. It will be totally fine. You're just getting a little stickiness. I would maybe do, and I'll of course write this in the recipe, coconut milk with a little collagen in it because that's going to be the protein, like you're getting the protein with the egg. So then now I have both hands wet, so I really want one wet hand and one dry hand. So you want to have everything ready when you start this because the shrimp will cook really fast. I have some coconut oil in my pan, and I have the burner on medium-high. So I'm going to toss some shrimp in. I'm going to get a good number of them breaded before I put them in, just because they will cook so quickly. So I just kind of scoot them to the side. So it's summer here right now as I'm recording this, the end of June. And I hope you have some fun vacation plans. I would love to hear if you have a trip planned. I do not have a trip planned. We did like the big epic trip last summer. If you're new here, you haven't heard me talk about it. We did the big car trip where we drove across the country. We live on the East Coast, and we got all the way over to Glacier National Park. That was the farthest west we went, and we were gone for a month, and it was amazing. It was just the best time. So we're saving up to actually do it again and go. We were in the more northern part of the country, so we didn't hit any of the canyons. So we want to do that next. So we have camps for kids and a special Boy Scout trip coming up, but nothing for mom. So I'm going to be staying home working and making videos for you, and yeah, I would love to hear where you're going so I can live vicariously through you. So share with us. Okay, so I have a good number here, so I'm just going to carefully get them in. You really want them to sizzle. You want the pan to be hot. Notice how I'm laying them in like they're facing the same direction. I don't know how to say this other than like they're spooning each other. And this is not balanced. I really need to see if I can balance this little tabletop thing because all the oil is to one side. But as soon as I did that one wrong. As soon as I get these loaded in, I will swirl the oil around. Okay, so just kind of get the oil all over, and it'll be under them to start. Just want to pull them back apart so they're not touching each other. Did I tell you what was in this? Coconut, a half a cup of coconut flour and a quarter of a cup of arrowroot starch, and then salt and pepper, a half a teaspoon of salt, and about an eighth of a teaspoon of pepper, just to taste. The sauce is a little bit spicy, so you know, you be the judge. If you like really spicy, go ahead and load up the pepper. If not, hold back. Okay, I'm gonna wash. So they're starting, there's a little piece of shell. They're turning pink, translucent. I need to turn this up. On your stovetop, medium is probably fine, especially if you have gas. You know how your stove works, okay? If it tends to run what I would call slow, you know, it's not super hot, medium high. If it's hot, gas for sure, just medium is good. Give them a flip. You really want them to have some color on them like that. And I have this plate out to put them on, but I'm actually going to switch it to a pan that I can stick in my oven to keep them warm. So I didn't overfill my pan. So seafood tends to overcook. You can overcook it really easily. So when you get a little color on, pull these off, especially if you're having to work in batches like I am, which you probably are. It's a full pound of shrimp. Unless you have like a deep fryer where you could get them all in at once. You're going to be working in batches. You want to pull them off when they just have a little bit of color, because you don't want them to be overcooked. And there was salt in my breading. I told you, a half a teaspoon of salt. And I don't want them to be overly salty. So I'll taste one in a minute and see if I need to add a little salt after the fact. Usually with frying something, you want to sprinkle with salt as soon as you pull them out of your oil. While I'm waiting for those to finish, it just didn't have it quite hot enough. I'm going to put my cauliflower rice over here. That's just the steamed rice. There's no oil or anything in there. So what's happening is that some of the flour that came off of my shrimp is sitting in the middle, right where the heating element is, and that's sort of burning. Again, on your regular stovetop, that would probably not be the case. really need a new skillet. A good non-stick that isn't Teflon. So I talk about in my Healing Autoimmune Disease program, getting all the toxins out of your home. And part of that is your cookware. But I say it's a process because most of us can't just go in and wholesale change everything in our house. Cooking, cleaning, storage, everything. So you do it bit by bit when you can. All right, so I sprinkled in some salt and pepper. This is garlic salt and then onion powder. And once I get a little kind of toast on my cauliflower, I'll add a little coconut aminos. Woo. Because that flour in the center was browned, those have a little extra browning on them. I'll leave that one out so I can taste it. I'm going to put these in my oven. So just have a paper towel handy. You know what, I'll use this plate that I ended up not using. And I want to wipe that out because that flour that was burned in the middle would make it, the rest of my shrimp not taste good. I put my coconut oil away already, so I'll use avocado oil. Okay, well that's heating. I'm going to go ahead and bread, hopefully the rest of my shrimp. So I can do that before that gets too hot. Okay, I need a little bit more oil in there. I'm actually going to use this grapeseed oil spray to get a nice even coat. It just needs more oil because it's tasting floury, and I want it to cook. Does that make sense? The flour tastes dry, and it needed a sprinkle of salt. So I'll sprinkle on what I have in the oven already when I pull it out to put these in with it. So this is a little bit of a labor of love. It's fast, doesn't take a long time, but it is. Frying anything is a little bit of a labor of love. Let's just say that. But most people love it. My kids love it. They love the shrimp. It's really special. We pick them up on our way home from the beach. These were actually from a one-day getaway. My husband and I scooted away to the beach for the day, which was wonderful. And brought home a few shrimps for the kiddos. Shrimps for the shrimps. Okay, let me give this guy a stir. All right, we're going to switch because these are all good now. These needed a little sprinkle of salt. Get these in here. You see how pretty they are? Pretty and toasty. Just a really light flouring on them, not like a heavy batter at all. Alright, so I don't know about you, but I love like sweet and salty, crunchy and smooth. You know, I like the mixture of textures and flavors. So this is getting a little bit of toast on it. Hold that thought, I'll get back to that in a second. I do get a reasonable number of comments about how people are trying to adjust to cauliflower instead of potatoes or rice. I get it. It's not the same. But it is a vegetable that's full of nutrition. Of course, it's very low in carbohydrates. The carbohydrates that it has are basically fiber, which is good for you. That's what you want. So it's a It's a change worth taking the time to make, in my opinion. The way to make it taste really good is to flavor it. So I put in the garlic and the onion and the salt and the pepper, and then I'm going to put in some coconut aminos because we like it, and coconut aminos just adds a great flavor. It's very similar to soy sauce, very rich flavor. Put that out of the way. One of my favorites is cilantro lime rice. So cauliflower rice, cook it, squeeze in some fresh lime juice, chop up some fresh cilantro, a little salt and pepper, garlic if you want. That's very, very good. I'm going to pull out a little bit to taste in a second. Okay, so here's the slaw. So going with like the warm of the rice will be warm and sort of soft, and the shrimp is warm. We have this cold, crunchy slaw, which has cabbage, carrots, and broccoli. But what I did was run it all through my food processor so that if somebody hates broccoli, they don't see these big chunks of broccoli. You know, it's nice little bite size. It was very easy. And I actually just used my little food processor. I didn't even get out my big one. I just worked in batches. It was really fast. The dressing is the sauce, okay? So the sauce is made up of mayonnaise. So please make your own mayonnaise. I have video of it. It's very, very simple. The recipe is written up. The only trick is your egg needs to be at room temperature for it to work. And it's super easy. Then you have a healthy fat option instead of an inflammatory oil like the mayonnaises on the grocery store shelf that are made with canola oil. So it's mayonnaise, ketchup, sriracha, and Frank's Red Hot. I think that's what it's called, Frank's Red Hot. Coconut aminos, and garlic. And I just used my garlic powder. This is garlic salt, but I had garlic powder instead of fresh garlic because I wanted it to be totally smooth. But you do what you like. Absolutely use fresh garlic if you prefer. I tend to use a lot of dried spices because they're very easily accessible, I think. It's frustrating when you pull out a recipe and it's like, oh, I don't have that one ingredient, but most people have these basic spices in their cabinet, so I try to make it easy for you in that way. Now, to me that doesn't even really taste like cauliflower. I'm really tasting the aminos and the garlic and the onion, so I think that's delicious. This recipe, of course, is written up for you, so I don't have to give you the amounts. I doubled the sauce because I knew I wanted to use it as a dressing, and it's just really good if you make chicken fingers or fish sticks or just grilled chicken or hamburgers. It's really good on just about anything. I love it on sweet potatoes. It's a really yummy, versatile sauce. So let me put together a bowl for you. Okay, I'm going to build my daughter's with rice. So we'll give her a nice bed of white rice. Okay, here are the shrimp. Best part. 7 or 8 shrimp is a good serving size, in my opinion. Okay, a nice spoonful of the slaw. Let me move this so I can make sure you can see. It's a nice pretty pink sauce. Really just drizzle that over. And then you have some fresh chives. You could do chives or green onion, either one. But I have chives outside and I don't have green onion. Okay, so that's it. That's our bang bang shrimp that I did bowl style with rice or cauliflower rice, the fried shrimp, the veggie slaw, and the yummy sauce on top. So I hope you enjoy this one. Remember, the recipes are all written up on my website. There are links to them in the description box. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, hit that little bell, and you'll get a notification when I'm doing a live video, or just when I publish a new video, which I try to do one a week. Sometimes we get a bonus too, but at least one. And I thought I had turned that off, and I had not. So now I have fried or burned cauliflower rice, but that's okay because I'm the one that will eat it, and I'm okay with that. So thanks for tuning in today, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments, and I will see you next time.